Welcome to the Leadmore podcast. I'm your host, John T. Meyer. The Leadmore podcast is the show where we sit down with leaders of today to help inspire and create more leaders for tomorrow. Because I believe the world needs more leaders, and I also believe leadership doesn't always have to look the way we think it does. It's time for a new era of leadership and a new look. Now today is another one of these episodes. I guess I kind of call this like a Leadmore journal, I guess you could say. Combination of a couple things. We've done a few of these shorter episodes, just me talking and sharing some ideas and thoughts. I've enjoyed doing them, but we've heard some really great feedback too, and it shows sort of in our stats and our analytics. So we're just trying another one of these, continuing to change up the show and mix it up. We have a couple really exciting guests coming up here now in the fall season. So with this one, I'm going to be talking about your mindset when times get tough. So we'll call this another Leadmore Journal episode. And with this one, let's get on to the show. All right, welcome to the Leadmore podcast. In this episode, I want to talk about how I try to reframe my mind when times are tough. And let me first say that life's been really great recently. I had an incredible August. Completed the 29029, something I've been thinking about doing for over a year. You heard that episode 2 episodes ago. Had just this incredible, outrageous, crazy sort of financial outcome thanks to a bet I made in the crypto world, which we'll save that for a future episode. And I also got to go to this amazing conference, this small curated event last week down in Columbia, Missouri called Capital Camp, where I met some of these incredible people just doing amazing things. And my bar of what's possible, my bar for success or even just interesting people was raised at this event, besides just being an awesome, cool conference. So like the last 30 days have been really great. So I want to say that first. But I also want to anchor that thought with this next thought, which is sometimes you can have crappy days too, and things can change fairly quickly, right? All these things happened in the last couple of weeks. But, Monday, Tuesday of this week, I just felt, actually even Labor Day was great. Maybe just Tuesday, just felt a little bit down with where the world, things are going on in the world, right? Here locally in South Dakota, it just seems like COVID is really creeping in and cases are rising, and 2 employees who had to get tested, and another employee whose child was positive, and hospitals getting full, all this crazy stuff going on in the world in terms of foreign policy, and even just like habits are being changed as we go back to school. And my one daughter starts kindergarten, the other daughter moves to a new room. It just feels like life can get heavy, right? And can get heavy pretty quickly. And so in a vulnerable moment, just sharing that, recognizing the swings that you can have from a really great month and Labor Day weekend to just the heaviness of life. So let's stop there and just say that's where I'm at right now. And I'm sure some of you can probably relate. So what do you do when you feel that way? Now, this is certainly not, you probably should talk to somebody, right? Professionally, first would be the best, or just a loved one. So I'm not going to get into that here, but what else can you do? So these are 3 sort of frameworks or thoughts that I try to do when times get tough for my mindset. So the first one we talked about in the 29 episode is be where your feet are, right? Live in the moment. Be right where you are in that mountain, the steps that you need to take one step at a time. We can't change the past. We can't worry about the future. We have to live in the present. And there's this awesome Giannis Antetokounmpo, the NBA star and now NBA champion from this past season of the Milwaukee Bucks. This quote he had was something, paraphrasing, was more or less, when you worry about the past, that's your ego coming through, thinking about how great something went or how it should have gone or could have gone or would have gone. When you're worried about the future, that's your pride, right? Worried about, will I get to this outcome? Will I make this much money? Will I live in that house? Will I What will my legacy be? That's your pride when you're thinking about the future. But the present, that is your humility. Recognizing if you live in the present, each day you got to get up, you got to earn it. Each day you got to go to work. Each day you got to get your kids dressed and ready and out the door to go to school. Each day the sun is rising, and we're so much to be grateful for. Just being humble and have humility about the day. That's the present. That's where you want to live. The past is your ego. The future is your pride. The present is your humility. I love that framework. I love that mindset. That's the first nugget of what to do when times are tough. Be where your feet are. The second one, you can only control what you can control, right? This is sort of the idea of Stoicism, Daily Stoic. I've referenced that book before. Great book. Any of the works from Marcus Aurelius, really great stuff. Any books from Ryan Holiday, who talks a lot about Stoicism. Highly recommend all those. So you can only control what you can control. Today, perfect example. I'm getting the girls out the door. We're rushing. The routine seems much more fast now. Kindergarten starts earlier than daycare did, preschool. And so we're trying to still find the best route to school. We're turning and going this new way. And then we see a train. And we're right behind the tracks. And the train is coming. Got to sit and wait, right? But guess what? The train passes, then stops, backs up, stops again, and then goes forward again. So it ends up being a handful of minutes. It really actually was just a handful of minutes in total, but it seemed like forever. Thought we were going to be late. I felt bad for my daughter, Margot. She had to explain to her kindergarten teacher why she's late on like the 7th or 8th day. And guess what? We made it. She walked in the door 1 minute before. No one said anything, and it was fine, right? But this moment of worried about being frustrated about something you can't control. I can't drive the train. I can't get out of the car and move it off the tracks. And we're stressing and worrying about these things that we can't control. Someone cuts you off driving in the car on the way to work. Who knows what's going on in their life, the stresses, the baggage that they may have. So very much in that be where your feet are is only worry what you can control. Focus on the things that you can impact: your attitude, your mindset, your health, the food that you eat, the exercise that you get, the way you talk to your friends and family, and even the way you talk to yourself, right? That idea that the tongue is the rudder that steers your life. You can control that tongue. So think about that and not worried about the train stuck on the tracks. So that's the second nugget. The third thing to do when times get tough, remember that iron sharpens iron. And specifically, the line that a good friend of mine, Dan Martell, taught me. In life, the problems, they keep getting bigger. You simply get stronger. And so I think we all aspire or wish for a life that just gets easier, right? As we grow up or earn more money or get a better job or have more responsibility or kids grow up or whatever. We just want things to get easier. That's sort of the narrative pitched to us. But the truth is that the problems just get bigger as you get older. My 36-year-old problems are quite different than my nearly 6-year-old daughter and her problems. So the problems grow, but guess what? You also grow and you get better. So think of it this way. The things that used to bother you 10 years ago probably don't bother you anymore, or at least they shouldn't, right? We're getting stronger. We're getting smarter. We're developing more experience, and we figure out how to tackle these problems. And so in times like this, when pandemic is still raging, the world feels like it's moving faster and faster, sometimes feels upside down. Habits have changed. We're back to school. Seasons are changing. The weather's even changing. And things feel out of control. What can you do? Well, I can be where my feet are, right here, in the moment, not worried about my ego in the past, my pride in the future, and just be humble in the moment. I'm only going to focus on what I can control, right? Figure out how to impact the immediate world around me and recognize it. Just be calm with the idea that I'm ready for this. I'm made for this. I'm prepared for this. It's time to embrace this, right? Each one of these moments, these challenges, these obstacles is an opportunity for iron to sharpen iron. The problems get bigger, but I get stronger. Those are 3 little kind of quarter turn mindsets to apply to your life, and 3 little ideas to think about and to ponder. If you perhaps are feeling like I was this week, a little overwhelmed, a little anxious, and to reframe your mind, grasp that problem, embrace it, challenge it, and take it on. So this is another episode of the Leadmore podcast, sort of journal edition. If you like this, let me know. Hit me up at Twitter at John T. Meyer. We're back with another really great guest next week, which I'm excited to share with you. As always, you can find the Leadmore podcast wherever you listen to the podcast and subscribe, follow, give us a review. Take care and be well.